Hello, welcome back to Sharks Happen. My name is Al, I'm your host, going over shark attacks from the 1900s to present, mostly large sharks, and we're going to dive right in. We're going to go over to the Egyptian Red Sea, the Daedalus Reef it is. The date is Thursday, September 27th, 2007. Kristina Aleksandrova, a 18 or 20-year-old Russian, is living on a dive boat, a 36-meter yacht. And the dive boat is at the Daedalus Reef. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Her and a friend are 100 yards behind the boat. They're swimming. She's at the top of the water. She sees a fin come up to the top of the water, and she says as soon as she saw the fin, pretty much she was bit. Shark grabbed a hold of her foot. She kicked at it a couple times with her other foot, and it left. Got her on board. She had 2 bites, one to the ankle, one to the foot. Severe tissue loss, 6-hour boat ride to get back in. She's recovered. Well, she probably had to go through a bunch of physical therapy, but they said that they thought it was an oceanic white tip because somebody was feeding those in the area a little while earlier, but Kristina says it was a reef shark that bit her, so probably a smaller shark, a black tip or something, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. The depth was 44 meters down to the reef, 30 to 44 meters in spots, and then it drops off after that to 500 meters. But, I don't think that played a factor. I think that's just the morning, and a fish was looking and thought it had itself a fish, bit down, and ended up letting her go and leaving her alone. So that's our first attack. We'll move on. Okay, now we're going to head over to South Africa to a spot called Lookout Beach. It's Tuesday, August 23rd. 2011, Tim Van Heerden, he's 49 years old. He's surfing with a group of friends, so there's a lot of surfers out there. He had just caught a wave in. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and all the witnesses say about it is 9 o'clock in the morning, and the attack took place in the shallows. So he took a wave in, and now he is making his way back out on the board, paddling out, when he sees a shark. He yells to everybody, there's a shark there, and moments later the shark comes and attacks him. He screams as it hits him, it knocks him off his board. He's trying to climb back on the board, and the shark turns around, comes back, grabs him again, and pulls him down into the water. He surfaces moments later, grabs onto the board, and by that time his friends are over by, one of his friends is over by him, and he says he was in very bad shape. His eyes were glossed over. It looked like he already bled out. So they got him to shore. That was a fatality. The shark is a 6-foot, they say, greater than 6-foot great white shark. So this is a smaller great white. This is, they're 4 feet or so when they're born. So very young shark. If it's close to 6 feet, it would be the smallest shark we've had in the shallows. So we've got a great white in the shallows, but it's a small one. And they said it bit him twice. He suffered 2 severe bites, one to the high up on the thigh, it says, and the other one to the groin. So yeah, that's Tim Van Heerden, 49 years old. Okay, we're going to head over to Queensland, Australia, to Kura Beach. The date is Wednesday, October 27th, 1937. Norman Girvan, 18 years old. He and friends are out body surfing at the beach. Him and a friend, Gordon Doniger, are out about 90 yards from shore in 20 feet of water, and they're waiting on a wave to come in. Gordon's younger brother made a wave in just as they were waiting for this next wave, and they have a friend, Jack Brinkley, that's about 10 yards waiting for the wave also. Gordon tells Norman there's a chute coming, and he goes around him and goes a little bit further out towards the water, towards the sea, so about 5 yards out past him. Still within about 5 yards of him, so they're waiting, and Norman turns to him and says, shark's got me, get out of here. Now, Gordon Doniger thinks that Girvan is messing around, so he tells him, just be ready for the chute. So Norman lifts up his arm and blood sprays everywhere. Now Gordon knows that he's been attacked, and he swims over to him. He gets over to him, first thing he does is grabs his arm. Well, his arm almost falls off. He said it was barely hanging on, so it almost completely severed, grabbed onto him by the waist. So now he's holding him by the waist, and he looks over to Brinkley, who's 10 yards away, 30 feet, tells him, get over here, Blue's been hurt. Shark got Blue. As he's swimming over, Norman says to him, the shark won't let go. So he's kind of sitting there, and he probably pays attention, and he can feel the jerking of the shark with his leg. So the shark still got his leg, and he looks over to see where Jack is and says that he saw Jack thrashing around like he was attacked and thinks that he was attacked then. So he's holding on to him, and the shark starts tugging really hard. Now they're doing a tug of war for his buddy Norman Girvan, and the shark gets him away. They disappear under the water, and they reappear a few seconds later, just a short distance from where Gordon is at. And Norman's still in the shark's mouth. Gordon says that he could see it was a large tiger shark, and that Norman was still conscious and still talking, because he told him, I'm gone, goodbye. And right when he said that, the shark took him under, and that's the last they see of him for a short time. So Gordon starts swimming back to the beach, and he says when he's swimming back, he saw a shark swimming underneath him, and he was worried it was gonna, I don't know if it was going which way it was going. It sounds like it might have been going the same direction as his, but he said he reached down to push at it, and all he caught was the fin, and it kind of gave him a little bit of a bump towards shore a little bit, and he made his way in. Now, as this is going on, as he's coming in, his brother is now swimming out to Jack Brinkley. His brother's on the shore, sees that Gordon and Norman are out there. Jack's yelling, and he hears something about sharks. So he's about to go and help out the other two when he notices that Jack Brinkley is struggling. So he's swimming out to Brinkley because he witnessed him being grabbed by the arm and tugged down towards the water by a shark. He gets there, and the shark's still there. It's 8 feet long, he claims. And he's helping Jack Brinkley back into the water. He yelled to his brother to come over here and help me get him, so they help him back into the shore. He ends up having superficial wounds. It didn't remove much tissue. He had to be sewn up. So they get him to shore, and then a short time later, the torso of Norman Girvan washes to shore. Very bad shape. Probably that arm is gone. Both legs are gone above the knee. It chewed him up pretty good, and that's a fatality, and it's an attempt to consume. It's not a great white. It's a tiger shark this time. It's a just under 12-foot tiger shark, because they actually caught this fish. They caught it, they opened it up, they found a hand in there that had the scarring that Norman Girvan's hand has, and they found other human tissue in there, so human remains. So that's Norman Girvan, and we'll move on. Okay, now we're going to head over to North Carolina, to the Outer Banks. There's a small town called Avon. The date is Monday, September 3rd, 2001. Sergei Zaloukaev, 28-year-old male, him and his wife Natasha, and 3 other friends, they're renting a house in Avon so that they can enjoy the ocean for the weekend. Prior to 6 o'clock at night, the 3 friends go in, and Sergei and Natasha decide to stay out swimming. They get about 30 to 40 feet from shore in 6 foot of water, and they're about 2 feet apart when suddenly a shark bites Natasha in the ass and pushes its way between the 2 of them. So they're separated a little bit. Sergei can see that she's bitten. He's yelling a warning now to everybody that's swimming in on the beach, and the shark turns right when he does that and bites him. So they're out there and they're screaming for help on their way in. None of the bystanders are helping them. They're all thinking that they're playing. So they're not getting any assistance at all until they get into the shallows where they see the blood. People come out and they help them to shore. They get to shore. Sergei goes into cardiac arrest 6 minutes afterwards. He passes away. I think he made it to the hospital, but he didn't make it. Natasha ends up surviving. She ends up losing a foot, a bunch of tissue off her ass. She said she was bit 6 times by this shark. Sergei ended up losing a foot, and he was also bit in the ass, and he passed away from his wounds. They said it was a 3-meter, either white or tiger shark. They said it could be a tiger shark or a white. So I guess the teeth didn't, they hadn't had time, or the teeth didn't end up showing them which one it was. I would say, it's probably a great white being in that area there. And it definitely was looking to predate. I mean, it took chunks out of both of them. She says it bit her 6 times, it bit him 3 times. So those multiple bites, they're not just, that's not mistaken identity or any of that. So that's Sergei Zaloukaev, 28 years old, and we will move on. Okay, we're going to finish out our unprovoked attacks over off the coast of California, Latigo Point, Paradise Cove. The date is Thursday, January 26, 1989. Tamara McCallister, 24 years old, is at the beach with her boyfriend, Jeffrey Stoddard. They're going to go out and do some kayaking. Before 9 o'clock in the morning, they are witnessed getting some hot beverages and muffins, and at 9:30 they're witnessed both getting into their own kayak and shoving off for their trip. Their trip usually takes some just inside the kelp beds, about 50 yards out, and then they go and take that around to where they have to go to get to Paradise Cove. When they get to somewhere between the two spots, they probably ran into trouble. They're going to go to a woman that lives over by a Coast Guard buoy. She gets home from a dentist appointment or a doctor appointment, and at 10:15 she looks out her front window. They left the beach at 9:30. At 10:15 she looks out her window and she says the sea was boiling. It was all churned up just past the kelp beds. The Coast Guard buoy had pinnipeds on it. The seals had climbed up on the buoy, and as this ruckus was going on, they were acting real agitated, real worried about it. She said they were just completely spazzing out. She said that the activity went on for 10 whole minutes. So they have that piece of information, and then the next day they find the two kayaks, 6 kilometers offshore, I do believe it is. They're flipped over upside down and they're tethered together. So when the two left the beach that morning, it was calm. They say that about the time they would have been reaching that buoy in that area where they, I guess, go around the corner to do their last leg to get to the Paradise Cove, the winds had kicked up to gusting 30 to 50. So they're assuming that they tied these two kayaks together so that he could be in front and cut a little bit of a wake for her to go through, making it a little bit easier on her to get out of there. So they find the two kayaks, they inspect the kayaks, and the white kayak, which was hers, near the front. So in the bow, there's a hole in the bottom, pretty decent sized hole, and then a cup about that big of an indentation coming from underneath. And then on the two sides, right above that, there's stress fractures on. So it bent. It would take that and just bend it when it hit. Kayak maker said these are made to bounce off, to bounce off of an impact like that, so that the impact might have actually sent this kayak airborne. They said it would take, to do the damage that it did to that kayak, it would take a shark 2,000 pounds moving 17 knots when it hit. So those two kayaks are tied together and she's hit. She's going backwards. Now they found her body, I believe it was the next Friday. But I'd have to relook into that. But they did find her body. They found her with a massive chunk taken out of her left thigh. It measured greater than 35 centimeters across. And then she had a traumatic bite to her other thigh. She also had a bruise to the back of her hand and a bruise to the back of her head. And they're theorizing that she hit her head. When that hit, it threw the front of the canoe over, tipped her back, and she hit her head. So, you know, she could have been knocked out when all this took place. She might not even known she was bit. The thing is Jeffrey. They never found another thing of him at all. All they found of him is his kayak. Did he, you know, his kayak was flipped over. I'm wondering if, you know, when she was knocked out of there, did he jump over out of his to go help her out? And the shark ended up getting him too. We'll never know. So, yeah, that's the story of Tamara McCallister and Jeffrey Stoddard, both fatalities. I'm going to put one of them down as a predation, and the other one, you know, they found her with just a bite out of her. So I'm not going to put it down as 2 predations, but 2 fatalities, 1 predation, and both by a great white. And we will move on to our You're an Idiot. Okay, we're going to finish out the show with You Are an Idiot. Today's idiot involves the jackass, although the jackass is not the idiot. 2021, in the summer, Discovery Channel sent Shark Week down to the Bahamas to film some sharks, because, you know, we all love the sharks. But for Discovery Channel and Shark Week, sharks are not the thing. They're not interesting. They invite jackass crew out. So these idiots come out. I've never seen their show, but I do know they're idiots. I've heard about it. And so they come on and they do a bunch of things with the Shark Week crew, because they're all a bunch of idiots anyway. And nobody gets hurt, so they decide they're going to have a Sean McInerney jump the sharks. So I don't know if it's on water skis or what. I'm not going to watch it anyway. But for their ratings, they have him miss the landing. Yeah, missed the landing. He landed where he was supposed to, in with the sharks, and he gets bit in the arm, and it's an attack. Of course, set up just like that idiot on the jet ski set up his own little drone view of him being attacked by a shark. Shark Week did the same thing with Jackass. Find somebody stupid enough that'll go in there and get bit for money. That's what they did. So yeah, Sean McInerney's a jackass, and so is the crew of Jackass, but Discovery Channel, you are an idiot. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back again soon. We'll be back in a few days here, probably in the next 2 days, with another shark attack full video, all about attacks, just like this one. I'll put the numbers on the board. I'll update that every few weeks. I'm not going to do that a weekly thing, and I will post it right to the community board as soon as it is finished. Thank you for being here. I always enjoy all the comments and talking to you all. Let's keep that going. And as always, if you are going in that water, you are much more afraid of those sharks than they are of you.